first of all, many congratulations on behalf of the nation. We could see you there as you were looking back at the race. And Fintan, first of all, your reaction. I think you were concerned there that you weren't going to get past the Germans, were you?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah. But you did. I mean, it was a magnificent... Paul, it was a magnificent row. I mean, did your race plan go exactly as you had planned?
I think so. Yeah. Like we always say to ourselves, like, and because of rowing, it's a good sport like that we can't affect our competitors and they can't affect us. So we just kind of go out and execute the fastest race that we can do. And I suppose you talk a little bit about what the other crews are going to do, but they're all pretty consistent what they do. Like, they just like to go out hard and try and lead from the front, and that's what happened, and we knew it. But we had a better start against them than we usually did, so we were pleased with that. And we put a lot of effort into going fast off the start, and it paid off. And we were kind of good and solid then down the middle of the course. And in fairness, Germany gave us a big tussle then all the way down, and you don't actually pay attention when you're in the race. Like, you know, it's very close, but looking back in the video then, you're like, the whole way down after the halfway, it was us in Germany and the bow ball seesawing up and down and this type of thing. So it was very entertaining, all right, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
For the fans at home. But yeah, you're kind of budgeting as well. Like, you're kind of gauging how things are going and how much effort you're putting in and how much you've left. And there was a couple of times Fintan called very early. He's like, up, go. And I was like, bit early for this now, but I suppose we'd better try it, all right, because the Germans were still ahead of us. And you know, I think we still had a bit of a sprint then in reserve for the last bit, and we saw then on the video that we pulled away, so that was nice.
It certainly was. It was magnificent. And listen, this is one thing I've always been intrigued about. I mean, how much communication is there between the two of you in the boat as the race evolves?
You wouldn't call it communication at all, like, in the sense that you're using words. Like, so we kind of basically, like, even go out in the boat, like, we don't really talk to each other, and we just go up to the start, and Fintan calls, he'd just say 15 strokes there over 3, and we go and do that, and we might say that was nice, or change this or that or whatever. But we had some great warm-up pieces, in fairness, on the way up, so we were happy with that. But then we'd be on the start line then, and we'd just be like, right, the plan is we'll do something similar to what we always do. And that's about the communication there. And then in the race, then Fintan just says up or go. And that's it then, yeah. 'Cause you can't, like, you're rowing hard,
yeah.
like, you can't be talking, like, if you're talking now, like, you would be doing it properly. So
those are my go-tos. Up and
words,
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll do all the talking during these
I'd be
Olympics
getting confused
too.
if he said too much, like.
Fintan, tell me about your first Olympic final experience. I mean, the two of you came across as very calm and very focused in the lead up to this final. But surely, as you headed out for the race earlier this morning, there must have been a little bit of nervous tension.
I was actually saying earlier on, it was fairly bizarre. I just didn't really feel that nervous. Like, usually maybe there would be a little bit, but I think it was just that we'd kind of done pretty much everything we could to prepare. So if it wasn't going to go our way, it wasn't because we hadn't kind of, left any stone unturned. Like, we'd done our best in training. We were going to put our best race out there. So it was kind of just go and do it. Yeah.
And when you crossed the line, I mean, was there just a great sense of relief? Or can you, at that particular moment in time, can you actually get any sense of the level of achievement that this is, particularly for a small nation where we don't glean many gold medals at the Olympics?
Yeah, it's a bit hectic crossing the line, all right. You'd get a fierce burst of excitement. But, yeah, I don't think it's probably not properly sunk in yet.
No, it'll take a while, I suppose, but you were looking back at the pictures there and you heard the commentary, and I suppose it probably helps give you a sense of how people get so involved in it here. And watching an Irish team like yourselves mount the podium and to hear Our on Naveen, I mean, it's a very emotional occasion, even for people looking on. I mean, looking back there again in studio, we were all fairly emotive about it. I mean, that must feel wonderful.
Yeah, it was really nice to watch it back there, actually. And yeah, a bit more exciting when you're watching it after than kind of watching the whole thing unfold during the race. But yeah, definitely
And thanks to social media, we saw the wonderful reception that you guys got when you returned to the Olympic Village. We know every Irish athlete out there in unison acknowledged what you guys did, and that must have been very nice to get it from fellow athletes and fellow competitors who've worked so hard to be at the Olympics, no more than yourselves.
Yeah, that was a nice moment coming back to the village, Ari. It's kind of a good time as well, because most of the people who are on Team Ireland are there at the moment. So yeah, it was good to get everyone out and see everyone. Yeah. Yeah,
Paul, if I could come to you again. I remember growing up, and the only gold medalist we had in the country at the time really was Ronnie Delaney, and there used to be an ad on television with Ronnie going around for Board Bonnie, I think it was at the time, showing his gold medal to young people and trying to inspire people into athletics and all that sort of thing. Then, of course, in '92 we had Michael Carruth, and of course, most recently we had Katie Taylor. And as I said, only 7 sports people in our history have had gold medals hanging around their necks. I mean, I know it's very difficult to come to terms with the level of achievement now, but it must begin to sink in at this stage.
I don't know, does this sink in really? Like, I think people think that you'd be more excited than what you actually are, and you'd often hear people be, oh, it hasn't sunk in yet. But from my experience, like, I've kind of, I won a medal at the last Olympics. I won 1 or 2 world championships as well and stuff. And so, like, it never, like, it's fine. Like, you're very happy winning, obviously. But at the end of the day, then you kind of forget about it and get on with life. But I like. And this, like, not many people have won gold medals and this and that. Like, that's nice for headlines, and like, you're trying to introduce us with that. But like, that's more of a fact of just being probably born early in the history of time. That, like, in a million years from now, we'll have had a lot more gold medalists, I'm sure, from the Olympic Games. Like, so that's kind of nothing down to what we've actually done ourselves in our training. So we can't kind of take credit for any of that at all. It's just a bit of luck with being born when we were, more than anything.
Yeah, but the thing is, in a million years from time, none of us will be around to appreciate all the gold medals we'll have accumulated in that very long period of time. But how did this Olympic experience for you compare to Rio?
No, it's been good. Yeah. No, like, I'd be saying, like, it's been 5 years ago now since the last time, more or less. So, like, it's hard to actually think back and remember exactly what things are like there, and then try and compare it to what's going on here. Like, I can hardly remember what I felt like yesterday, generally speaking. So it's hard to make the comparison, but they're both very good experiences, you know. Myself and Gary had a good time there. We really enjoyed ourselves in Rio, and then Judge Fintan's made the boat now this time, and he's gone straight to the top of the podium. So fair play to him for that. Like, that's a good introduction to the games for him. So both good experiences for sure.
Yeah, and competition-wise, Paul, what did you learn, or what did you take from the Rio Olympics that you could possibly bring into these games?
I suppose, Joe, it's very hard, like, to win the Olympic medal, and Joe, a lot of people, you could see it out there on the course, like that. Joe, conditions were kind of challenging for some, and you can make a slip up, and that can happen easily. And so, like, there's not a lot that we can do if it happens to us. But I suppose you just have to be there to capitalise on it if it happens to other people, and anything can happen. And like we were saying in Rio, like, myself and Gary weren't quite the favourites for the medals. I think maybe we would have been 5th seed or something going into it, and then we made the jump up onto the podium. So you have to be kind of watchful that someone else won't get the jump on us. And Germany very nearly did that. They were very fast all regatta, you know, and we had to kind of pull out all the stops there nearly to get past them today. So and it's not like Uruguay, actually, they made the final in the double, and it's first time ever that they've had a boat from their country in the finals. I think they were telling me. I was chatting to one of them after the race. So, you know, strange things can happen there when people are coming under a bit of pressure. And Joe Fintan, he was good and cool and calm and delivered on the day. So, yeah, it's been a good trip for us.
Yeah, Fintan, throughout the race, I mean, we can't see the finer nuances of what's going on the boat. But were there any mistakes on the way to that gold medal?
Not really, to be honest. Like, we had a clean enough race. It was mainly just, you know, putting the blinkers on, because we knew that the Italians and the Germans were going to be ahead for some of the race at least. So it was just about, you know, getting down the course and trying to do it faster than everyone else.
And that's what you did. And needless to say, we've got the whole country watching this morning, but we've got